recently had a chance to work out with Mike O'Hearn. Mike O'Hearn is a legend in the fitness community. He's a former Mr. Universe. He's a power lifter. He's a judoka. A judoka. I don't know what the male term is. I only know it via Ronda Rousey. People say she's a judoka. Is there a male term that I don't know? Who knows? Who cares? He does judo. He does sports. He grew up playing football. And meeting him in person, I guess what comes across, because I'd recently started watching, let's say in the last 2 or 3 years, I'd consumed more of his content. And everybody knows Mike O'Hearn, even if you don't know the name. You know him from fitness magazines if you're around my age or whatever, but he's like literally the most photographed like fitness model of all time. He's been on the most covers of, say, Muscle and Fitness or Flex magazine. You couldn't like turn around in a GNC in the 90s without seeing Mike O'Hearn. It was like it's almost like he was like a composite of every fitness model ever born. Was like, here we go with this guy with the perfect physique and the perfect face for fitness modeling is here. And, you know, he almost doesn't look real. Now, I know there's a lot of controversy around whether or not he takes creatine, but he told me in person that he has never taken creatine and never would. Therefore, I believe him. You know, you got to take him at face value. I think he's a non-creatine user, and we'll just have to leave it at that.
See the dude from that football movie? The Program?
No, he's not Latimer. Although they kind of like, they're roughly the same size. He's a big dude. He's also like, I think he's either approaching 50 or in his 50s and the most impressive, oh, look at that. Could you click on that behind the neck press with 3 wheels? Like just his strength is insanely impressive. I've seen videos of him repping 455 on incline, super controlled, right? And again, anybody this age, like I don't know how old Ronnie Coleman is, but like you see guys who train really hardcore throughout their lives. And eventually, if you're not using great form or you don't take care of injuries, it's going to catch up with you. Oh, there's a video of him. Let's check out that one, the American Gladiator one. Do you see where he's pressing the guy up against there? I also grew up on Mike watching American Gladiator. So it was cool. Yes, right. And so you can kind of see, he told me a little bit of stories about some of these guys on there. I'm not going to name any names, but he would talk about how like, yeah, some of these guys or girls like looked really good, but they weren't necessarily athletes. So you dominate them in these, you know, there was this performance aspect to it. So if you've actually played football before, you know, or know how to do martial arts, it's a huge advantage. So, but in person, Mike, I just found to have a fantastic sense of humor, and he's like a guy's guy. You know what I mean? He's like giving everybody crap, and just reminds me, you know, of a guy I might have played football with or a football coach or something like that. And I think we need more guys like Mike O'Hearn. And also, I'm going to have you watch this video in a second, but I was just going to say that the instruction that he can give you, like the notes that he can give you, it's really tremendous. Like I feel I lifted with him twice with, you know, having been invited by my buddy Griffin, who started working out with him, Griffin Gaines, chiropractor. He said, oh yeah, you should come work out with us. So I joined their crew. We filmed some content, and the nuanced specificity of the notes he was able to give me on basic movements that you take for granted, like a lateral raise, you know, or a hyperextension, you know, on a shoulder press. These very simple movements that you're like, oh, I know how to do this. And of course, I'm also somebody who goes like, I'm always trying to learn, right? I have some degree of mastery, but you can always learn. Mike is a real expert in the field of bodybuilding. He's not just somebody who has a really nice physique, which you can achieve a really nice physique without being also an amazing coach. But Mike's somebody who has both, because he can take his knowledge and he can transfer it to anybody. He can show you the little tweak, the little thing. He can communicate it to the individual, which I think is a really important skill. So I felt like I leveled just a couple training sessions with him, and I hope I do more, but he'll level you up, right? And really just a phenomenal coach on top of all those things I said earlier. Let's check out this video because it's inspirational at the end of the day. Dude, yeah. There's me doing front raises in the shadows, dramatic music. This dude's gigantic, an IFBB pro. There he is modeling this for me. You know, I'm doing like basically a shrug right there. I'm seated with a couple dumbbells with my back bent over. This is another thing where it's like, oh, I know how to shrug. And then he showed me a whole new way that really targets my traps, and I've never done before, and it's harder than it looks, and it's something that I take, and I'm going to keep using in my real life. Okay? So enough of me blowing Mike O'Hearn.